challenge. Great, aren't they? To king a influencer on YouTube as the 3D print influencer king globally. Who is it? Who would it be? And by what criteria would we come up with? Well, as the 3D print license king myself, globally, I believe that the questions shall be is to have a influencer admit the following in writing or in a video, and you can post me the link in the description or the comments below, because I'll enable the comments and I won't hide your comments. I won't hide your questions like many do. So the questions are: should all of the community license check the STL of their 3D print invention thing? Should they license check that STL before they upload it and license it at a website? Any website. There's lots. I've vetted more than 56, well over. Question 2. Should all 3D print sales be license checked by the seller? So this includes print farms. Should a print farm license check all sales and is obligated to get it correct? To fail to do so can and does result in close down for piracy, because it is a crime. And it doesn't matter who drew the STL, whether the farm drew the picture or they found it free on Thingiverse, it doesn't matter. If you go to sell a print, you must license check that sale of that print, because to make commercial gain and to have not paid royalties from the true owner to the true owner is piracy. So the only way to know whether what you've drawn and invented is original is by license checking. And so this is the challenge questions to find us a influencer. Now this is a tough challenge for influencers, because influencers can be purchased almost like cattle. That's harsh. They can be bought off in a way where they sign contracts, and we shouldn't hate people for selling out because and being controlled with contracts. And the reason is because to feed your family and to buy food and a roof over your head, sometimes your integrity has to take a back seat to the reality of hunger. And so I understand that. I understand that many influencers are and have been silenced, and they can only say what they're told to say, and that any questions that are too difficult or that are purposely being held for a bad purpose, because there are elements within our community that I know have put it in writing to me that they are working from within our community and they want our value destroyed. And I'm absolutely serious. And so we have to be cautious to keep the industry going. You know, has been a lot of work in 2021. I spent 12 months working on it, and to get business services resumed anywhere for the entire world, and I've got that done. And we have Cults 3D in France now, and thank you very much to them for being able to manage to resume business services where all other companies have failed to do so globally, and are still down to this day, 19 months later. So there's big issues and big pressures and big money involved. Big companies with huge buying power. And influencers are literally people for hire. So, but the challenge stands. Let's attempt to king a influencer on YouTube. Who are they? We have our test questions. Should you license check all uploads? Should you license check all print sales? No matter who drew it. And the answer is yes and yes. Definitely want to do that. I've been closed as a pirate. Not good. And I deserved it. I deserved to be crushed and closed and have my business flattened because I was wrong. And I learned my lesson. And I have bite marks. And I have worked my way to come back into the industry and work my way back up, getting it right, because I want to do it legitimately. And, you know, I'm not trying to get anybody to you know, feel that I'm cool, because the industry is not about me. It's not about my grammar. Everyone loves to pick on my grammar because of how I am. But I am not the industry. The 3D print industry is its own thing. I'm in a position to be able to have a lot of knowledge because I've been in this since before Thingiverse existed. I've been around, you know, I've done a lot of things. I've got a lot of stuff involved, and you know, the point. Influencers, can we find one? Now I'm going to put some posts out to the influencers to see if we can find one, and I would ask the community, the public, to ask your influencer those questions, to ask your influencer to step forward to say, yeah, that's correct, and it isn't a secret, and it shouldn't be being kept from especially newbies, millions of them. Because when I see newbies being led into a situation of a known loss, when people are led purposely to the slaughter of their value, I get very upset about that. And I would prefer to think that for myself, I would be smart enough to not to have to resort to that to make $1. Because my saying is, I wish you all nice success. And part of that is nice. It's got to be nice. It's because it's more nice. It's more successful if it sounds nice, surely. So it has its little plan built in. So there we have it, community. Think about the questions. Think about your influences. Think about where they're leading you in the business end result under their leadership that you will get. Do you have confidence in their integrity to tell you all the information about the industry? And my experience from being in this a very long time is I can pretty confidently say that there is a serious purposeful silence in our community that is affecting the value of millions. And there's no need for that. You know, we can all make $1 legitimately. We don't have to play it that way. Just because it's business doesn't mean to say that it has to be a bad thing. So let's try and be upfront. Let's try and operate in a legitimate fashion. Let's try to have the courage to be able to say, of course, we license check before uploads and sales. And that, you know, other questions would be prudent as well. Let's add a third question. Do you think, shouldn't there, if I ask an influencer, would you like business services resumed in your own country so that our thing ownerships aren't going offshore to a single website? I'm happy that that site exists, and I applaud Cult 3D in France for operating, and thank them so much that they are giving us at least a single choice that we can operate, and that the whole community has this one choice to choose from. Are the influencers telling us about that? Now I know that they aren't. So this is another issue, and I think that if I were to say who is the influencing king, I would be saying it's the guy that is able to stand there and tell us the real story. And the real story is Cult 3D in France are the only site with operating migrates and transfers. And for us as the community, and that means we can sell our businesses. And their scary exclusive clause, which is tough, but because they're the only site, they can have any clauses they like. And the clause is exclusivity. So we must remove and delete our ownerships out of all of our other countries to enable sales, and the commissions go to them, not our countries. And again, I applaud them, and congratulations. I hope they make vast, vast fortunes. But my question stands to the influencers. Can an influencer stand there and type or say, you should always license check before uploads and sales? Cult 3D in France is the only site for migrates and transfers. There's no other choice. And that we should encourage all of the community to want other sites resumed for those business services as well, to split the risk. So we're not having all our eggs in one basket. And if that site were to ever fail, all of the global jobs and businesses related to thing ownerships, tens of millions, if they were to just vanish, none of those ownerships would exist. We'd be back to square one. So these are tough criteria to ask an influencer to point out to newbies, because it's not popular in the news. You know, if you're trying to sell a printer to a newbie, the 3D printing industry is an extremely interesting industry. We're in the Stone Age that how it's going to get better has got vast ways to go. It's going to get a lot better yet. And so it's a creative, fun, you know, you get to design things and solve problems. It's great fun. I've had a lot of fun in it, but it's also full of perils. It's full of entrepreneurs. It's full of shark entrepreneurs, big teeth ones. Some with big, massive, huge deep wallets that can just buy a company out, no problem. My listings at $2 billion aren't as easy to buy out just like that, because it's a lot of money. Some of my smaller ones I'm looking to sell, because yes, I have skin in the game, yes, I have clients I'm going to be selling stuff for. Maybe other stuff I will not need to part with due to the sensitive natures of what they might be. But without looking at, making an analysis of me or my grammar, or whether I'm the industry, because I am not the industry. I'm a player within the industry. And I have got my position by being here extremely early and working hard and thinking hard. And the competition was tough, when there was groups of us racing for those next positions, and we was like working and thinking, what is going to be the next thing? And then when you realise what it is and you go there, and sometimes you miss by minutes, and then you have to take down all your work and clap for the other guy. But the industry is a lot of people with lots of companies, lots of influence and influencers. So let's be cautious about where these people are leading us, what information they're telling us, and what information they're not telling us. And how critical is that information that we don't get told, when it means that people will completely lose their value altogether of those things. It's very serious. And the value is great. And I want to stand here and be able to say, and I can say, I have not sold out. I can stand here and give an opinion, and I can stand here and tell you where we're at with the industry. And it doesn't need to be a secret. And it isn't, The information is there, but it is knowingly and purposely being held back by certain elements within the community. And we're all attempting to, operate and be entrepreneurs, because a lot of this is about entrepreneurialism and money. And so, I can grasp that. So, let's see, who of you out there can ask your influencer, and I'm asking all the influencers, to state those three things. Yes, always license check before uploads and sales. You really want to nail this? Say, yeah, Cult 3D is the only site on the planet for migrates and transfers. Let's see it. Let's see who is the real influencer out there, besides myself. And I'm not trying to get, subscribe to me or buy this product or use this service. So, let's see it.